welcome back, Death Toll Racing. The spoiler alert: this episode is freaking awesome. My mouth hurts because I was smiling too much towards the end of it. So I'm obviously voiceovering this. We are going to install this AMULET thumb. It's a mechanical thumb on a 2003 JCB 215S. It is a bitchin' piece of equipment. It well exceeds my expectations, and even my backhoe exceeds my expectations on what that backhoe is actually capable of. Anyway, installation is, I'd say it's a breeze. It's not easy, but the only reason it's not easy is because everything's so heavy. And it's so big, and it's just really hard to move this stuff around. But if you're creative, I use a cherry picker a few times, and I also go in and play with the adjustment, just move the boom around and stuff to get it placed that way. Pinning it is the only difficult thing. This doesn't have a quick connect bucket or anything like that. So this replaces the back link, the big link. I'm not familiar with the terminology on most of these parts. But the back link gets replaced with the AMULET link, and then it has that they call it a kidney link up front, and that kidney bean link, that's what links the backhoe or the thumb onto the bucket. And this is mechanical, so this works on an Extendable Boom in all positions. It stays with the bucket. It's not like a thumb. A lot of times they'll have a thumb on these Extendable Booms, but they're attached to the main boom, not the extendable boom. So the thumb will only work in the all the way in position. This will work in any position that boom is in. Which is really cool. So then you have a couple pinning locations, so you can pin it back and out of the way or whatever. They also include a plate that you would weld onto the lower boom, the extendable part boom, for completely pinning it out of the way, where it's all the way back. But from reading everything, what I see, I don't think you'd ever really need that except for like maybe a specialty type scenario, because even while you're digging, if you have it pinned in the farther open position, it doesn't affect your digging, and it actually helps for like dump truck loading and stuff, having it out that way. So I'm setting it up the first time for basically full function of the thumb for grabbing, for trees and logging and that type of thing, and that's how we set it up. So again, 99% of the install is not because it's difficult, it's because it's just heavy and big, and you're trying to line, as you can see us here struggling trying to line this thing up. I finally gave up and just let the bucket hang, and then lifted on the bucket with the cherry picker. That is a lifesaver. That made it super easy. So instead of just trying to get the bucket sitting exactly on the ground, exactly in the right spot for the pin to line up, I just lifted the bucket with the cherry picker, and that made it pretty easy to line this stuff up. I mean, you're still lifting it and moving it, and then there's some washers you have to put in between, which adds to the complication of it. But really, all in all, it goes pretty good. That's a dead blow hammer. So it's basically rubber filled with sand or plastic filled with sand, and so it moves the pin along pretty good. I covered everything in grease before I put it together, and then we grease it all once we're done. They have a lot of grease fittings on all the pins and everything on this machine, or on their thumb. They make this thumb for multiple machines. This is on a JCB, but they have them for I think pretty much everything. Just call them. They have a pretty good website, but if you don't see the thumb that you have on there, or you're a little bit confused by it, don't be afraid to call them. That's what I did, because it didn't 100% make sense to me. According to the website, they didn't really have a thumb for my machine, but once I talked to them and stuff, they absolutely did. So then they'll have you do some measurements and stuff, so they can make sure they give you the right thumb that will close correctly on the bucket. And that's that. We're about ready to start playing with this thing, so have fun watching it. I had a lot of fun doing it. Alright, so here is the linkage. This is how it works. This is in the more closed position, so this clamps in the picking position, I'd call it, and in the other position it would be clamping in the curled position for digging, and then it would kind of hold your pile in your bucket. So I guess that's actually really nice if you're digging, especially if you're loading trucks. I guess that's actually really nice. And then you can also completely take it out of the equation and pin it back. That does involve welding a little bracket that they give you on the boom, though, and then you would unpin it and back so it's out of the way. We'll see if we ever need to do that. Here's a highly scientific cinder block clamp test. It had no problem destroying that cinder block, and now I'm just going to kind of chew up my pallet. I am in no way an expert with a backhoe. The little experience that I have operating this type of thing is an excavator, and that's the controls are different. So I am extra terrible at running a backhoe. So I am getting used to it. So everything I do kind of takes me a little bit, and I kind of look like I don't know what I'm doing because I don't. So anyway, I just kind of break this thing up, and then we're going to take it out back and see what it'll do to a car. Okay, so here I am sliding around a little bit in a 26,000 pound tractor. This is the terrain here is way steeper than it looks like, and so this thing's four-wheel steering and four-wheel drive, but it is open diff front and rear. I wish it had the option of a locker, and this one doesn't have it. I wish it did. I am going to look into what it would take to put it in. These things are so intimidating when you look at them, but then once you really start looking at them, they're not very hard to work on at all. They're pretty easy to work on. Anyway, this is the Blaze Actor. That's the one that burned up last fall or last summer. Super scary, super helpless feeling. I haven't touched it, so everything's still in it. I need to pull the engine out of it still. It's a 383 stroker that was very new. Maybe had like 5,000 miles on it. It's about a 400 horse 383 stroker. It was fuel injected. Obviously, that's not going to be good anymore. And then the transmission caught on fire. That's what started that fire, automatic transmission failure. It was a hot day and back to the trailer up the hill, and obviously I cooked it. And it actually physically caught fire and did what you see there. And it burned about 2 acres of my property. Luckily, the fire department was on it. But look at that, I'm picking it up effortlessly. The excavator is at 1,500 RPM, and I'm just feathering the throttles. I'm not like going gung-ho on them. And it just picked it up like nothing, like it wasn't there. I can't believe it. That thing has to weigh at least 4,000 pounds. There's still a rear blade on it. There's still the boom on it. The rear deck is made a 1/4-inch deck plate. And then it has that toolbox, slip tank and stuff that caught on fire too. That is still all on it. So there's still quite a bit of mass there, and it picks it up very easily. And it just destroyed that cab. It was like it was nothing. And then as it's squeezing it, it was like there was nothing even in it. It squeezed the center. I was actually thinking about ripping the front end off of it, but then I realized I remembered I still had an engine in it. So I didn't. You don't know how tempting that is just to start ripping that thing apart. That is so much fun. I was grinning ear to ear doing this. It's pretty fun. So Safari Wagon guys, I'm doing fuel system now. I'm going to be back. I'm hoping to be done with that on Wednesday. The fuel system, so that we can move on and be done with that part of the project. And we can start moving into really getting that thing going. See, it is getting close, and I'm getting kind of excited to get it started. So I have a lot of motivation right now to get that done. So after I do the fuel system, I'm going to do all the power steering lines and high boost lines and that kind of stuff. And keep going on assembly. So anyway, that's coming up soon. So thanks for watching. This is an AMULET hoe clamp. AMULET Manufacturing, call them. I am not sponsored by AMULET for this, but that is an impressive thumb, and it's well worth the money.